Good morning, YouTube. It is 8:48 a.m. Saturday, February 5th, 2022. That driver was insanely cool. Quite possibly the coolest driver I've ever actually chatted with driving the Route 29. Just my bus card didn't want to swipe, and I've been saying I'm going to show it to you. This is the last day it's good for. My bus card didn't want to swipe, and he's like, "It's okay, just let me see it." And I'm thinking, yeah. There you go, man. That's all that's left. Magnetic strip. Amazingly, that text doesn't come off, but yeah, everything on the other side is completely worn off. I mean, not only can you not see the date, you can't even see what kind of pass it is. I said, I swear to God, it's good. It'll swipe. He's just laughing. He's like, "Wow, you get your money's worth out of your pass." And darting across the street right here. I don't know why I just darted across the street right there. I was thinking that I was going to take this little side street here, Windsor, and then I realized there is a side street I can take across, but it's one of these private drive kind of side streets that still has its own name and street sign. But brain fart. It's the one that's just south of Oak, not the one south of Thomas. I have not walked down this street in a long time. This is 52nd Street, by the way, going south of Thomas. Looks like some kind of new development going in here. If I was to guess what's going in there based on the dirt work that's been done so far, I would say townhouses. Probably luxury townhouses. It's happening in a lot of this part of town here. There was a lot of this used to be kind of rural-ish, so there's a lot of larger houses on larger properties, and a lot of people are cashing in. Several people that have those kind of properties are selling them to developers that are raising, and the houses, a lot of them aren't really that nice. They just have full acre of property, kind of like this. That's actually a really damn nice house, but there you see there's not a huge house, but a nice house, but they've got a sizable yard, and when developers can, they'll snag a piece of property like that and clear it all, and then put in several townhouses to set up a little HOA and make a whole lot of money selling those townhouses, because I've mentioned it before, housing in the last 2 years here in Phoenix has gone up by like 25%. And here's another substantial chunk of property. Now, it doesn't look like anything's being done with it yet, but somebody's waiting for the right opportunity, the right deal, I'm sure. I certainly don't see a for sale sign on it. Anyway, what the heck was I talking about? Oh, bus driver. Bus driver's cool as hell. He was commenting, it's like, "Yeah, you really get your money's worth out of that bus pass." And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm working 2 jobs. I'm working all the damn time and riding everywhere. The jobs are far." And then when he told me, he's like, "Damn." And then I explained what my commute was to Amazon, and I was like, "Yeah, that works out nice. Those rapid buses are nice." He said he used to drive that route. So I'm surprised more people don't use it. It just feels like a lot of people aren't aware it exists, and I honestly believe a lot of people aren't aware it exists. In fact, almost everybody I've told about it and how I do my commute to Amazon, including people who ride the bus, are just completely oblivious to the existence of that route. He did tell me one thing I would really have to worry about is, since I ride the 6:11 p.m. Outbound one to work, and since it's the last run of the night, he goes, "You might be in trouble if that bus breaks down." And ooh, nice vet. And that's very much a possibility. hadn't really thought of that. So far, that's been probably the most reliable bus that I ride in my regular journeys throughout the week. But it's not outside the realm of possibility. And if that happened, I just do like I did when I had that whole fiasco on Wednesday evening with the wheelchair and the guy in the walker that couldn't get out of his dang bus, or wouldn't have been capable of getting out of the bus, and the driver saying, "Hey, I can't take you," and stopping the bus. And I don't know if I've got the full detail in it, but it was quite the fiasco Wednesday. And I hopped on it delayed the 29 I was on so much that the next 29 came along. And then that particular 29, it was running just late enough that I could not catch a 7th Street Route 7 or a Central Avenue Route 0 or a light rail south. All three of those will take me to Central Station. But it just got me to all those transfers. Just the timing, I'm talking like 2 minutes. It looked like my best shot was 7th Street. And yeah, when I got to 7th Street, I could see the tracking and see that the bus had just passed. It was like 2 blocks south of me. And those are the little things that make the difference between making it on a bus and not making it on a bus. And yeah, had to take, I don't think I really went into detail what a fiasco that was. I alluded to it a few times, and every time I was vlogging about it, I was out of time to explain it. So I guess now's as good of any time. So what happened is, as I said, there was a fiasco when people got in, delayed the 29. I think I've already explained that part, but none of the transfers work, as I just now kind of explained. And what ended up happening was, when I got off at this, I thought just maybe I could catch the one at 7th Street. Of the 3 options of taking light rail, taking Route 0 bus, or taking the Route 7 bus, in looking at the location of every vehicle and the timing and the current updated stuff on the transit app, which is always updated in real time. That's another thing it seems like most bus riders aren't aware of. Although I tell you, it's taken me a while to figure out, to get the hang of using it, because it's not as obvious as it should be. It's like, at least not to use it the way I use it. Kind of a power user of that app at this point. Anyway, it looked like my best shot was that, and I got off with another guy. And honestly, I didn't even think of it. It was a guy on the bus that was like, "Hey, you might try doing the 7th Street. That was right there too." And I'm like, "You're right, it does." And it looked like my best shot, but nah, we just got enough people getting on and off the bus, and that one just got lucky with the green light. Ooh, those guys just about flew through that intersection. I hope y'all saw that. I just barely caught it out of the corner of my eye. That guy is completely in the crosswalk. And he jammed on his brakes so hard that car behind him damn near rear-ended him. And I don't know what the speed limit is offhand on 52nd Street, but I don't think it's fast enough to... Oh, that guy's tailgating now. I don't think it's fast enough to justify that bullshit. Here's a place I don't get to walk and get on film very often. That's Oak Street going east into Scottsdale. I think it's still Phoenix for like another... I'm not sure if it's a full mile or a half mile. Yeah, almost to Scottsdale there. And then behind that chain link, which is slightly obscured, is a military base. I can't remember if it's Army National Guard. I believe it's National Guard. Don't quote me on that, I'm 100% certain. It's definitely a military base right there. And as you can see, it's got some of the cool rock views that make up the bulk of Cocktail Park. Kind of a neat thing that's here in this neighborhood. And sometimes it causes me to hear a lot of helicopters in my neighborhood from out of here, because I am within earshot of this place. And I want to say I live about a little over half mile from here. This isn't the direction I walk very often because there's no transit over here. Those are some cool looking trees. I don't know that I've ever noticed that before. I just never walk down this stretch of 52nd. I'm usually on, if I'm walking in this part of town, I'm usually on the next street over, which is 51st Street. And there's your speed limit sign, 35. Pretty sure those two vehicles that just about collided into each other while jamming on the brakes for the red light they weren't paying attention to. They're going faster than 35. I feel like these people are going faster, at least the one in front, going faster than 35 too. And I got no room to bitch about it. When I drive that stretch of 52nd Street, I tend to go faster than 35 myself. And it's the last north-south thoroughfare on this side of Papago Park, the military base. So the next through street is, I want to say it's mile and a half. I can't remember off the top of my head if it's a mile and a half over or 2 miles over, but it's quite a ways between. There's another before the next street. It's 64th Street is the next one that connects, and that's in Scottsdale. The next one that connects Oak and McDowell. I think this is Monte Vista that I'm on right here, and this is a private drive, but it goes through. It's got sidewalks. It's peaceful to walk on. Although I don't know that I've ever walked it before. I've just walked by it and looked at it. And I got all sidetracked. I was trying to tell a story about what happened with my Ubers and my Lyfts, because I had an Uber and a Lyft. So yeah, I'm at the corner of standing in front of the Circle K, the southbound bus stop for the Route 7. Oh, the alarm was going on. I set this alarm for a while back for something, and damned if I can remember how to shut it off. They're cool townhouses. I used to have some friends that lived in these townhouses, but they, so I don't think they were married, but they'd been together as a couple, living together as a couple for a long time, and the guy died, unfortunately, and yeah, without him, she just couldn't really afford to keep the place. Kind of sad. I still see her from time to time. She's a sweetheart. Anyway, so I just thought of that walking through here, because that's the last time I was here, was to visit them. Anyway, so long story short, because I'm almost to my landlord's, so I'm waiting there at the southbound thing, and I order a Lyft, and I'm pretty excited because it immediately matches me up with a driver who's got a foreign name. I think it was Noor, N-O-O-R. And I really don't have racial prejudices, but I do find that when I get services like transportation services for foreigners, they don't know where the hell they're going because they're foreigners. If I'm in a foreign country, I'm probably not very familiar with the area either. It just is what it is. And sure as shit, he went around, looped around, went past me, then went past me again, and went around the corner again. Never did find me. Ended up canceling the ride. Sent me to another driver, and I don't have time to explain what was wrong with her, but I think I've mentioned her before. I just didn't really explain what the deal was, but it was I was so frustrated with her and felt so unsafe with her that I was like, look, just pull over and just let me the hell out. And I ended up getting out at the Safeway at McDowell and 7th and having to get on Safeway's Wi-Fi to download what do you call it? Download Uber, because at that point I'm not trying to get another Lyft. I'm just frustrated. I was getting ready to go on, and I was expecting I was going to have to pay for the mile that I rode with her, which is, fine, whatever. I rode a mile, I'll pay for it. But I was also going to leave her a 1-star review and just blast, report the experience of how bad it was. But as soon as I got out, I noticed that she immediately canceled the ride, and then I noticed it was also trying to match me with another driver, but still trying to match me up with the other driver at the Circle K that I had left at Thomas and 7th Street, which just was insane, and I didn't see an obvious way to change it. And at that point, the last time I used Lyft, it was also a similarly bad experience. Not nearly as bad as that, but it was a pretty frustrating experience where I had a driver that was real close to me and was assigned to me, and then a minute later canceled me. I was actually right down the street here, the end of the street at Castaways. I believe that was Monday afternoon. Memory serves. Yeah, the driver, first driver matched with me right away, and then he a minute later canceled me. And then the next driver that matched with me was in a place that no Uber driver with a brain, or I'm sorry, Lyft driver, rideshare driver, cab driver, whatever, vehicle driver with a brain would be on, because she was on the 202 headed westbound between 32nd Street and 24th Street. And that's always, this is at like 5 p.m. That is always an absolute gridlock. I don't understand why people stay on that road. It's absolute gridlock. There's surface streets that'll get you along faster, and especially somebody who's doing transportation for a living, whose livelihood depends on being able to quickly get to people. You're not quickly getting to anybody if you're sitting there. So, I'm super frustrated that the algorithm was stupid enough to match me with somebody who's stuck in gridlock. And I sat and watched her, and instead of her getting off the freeway, well, she did get off the freeway, and it was recommended that she just do a U-turn and come back to me, which probably would be the quickest thing to do once she made it to where she could, get off on 24th Street. But she didn't. She turned right on 24th Street and just went driving on a joyride farther and farther away from me. And by the time I wonder if these drivers understand that the passengers can see that they're driving in the wrong direction when they're coming to get them. Like, do they even understand that? I honestly wonder. But yeah, I watched her as she went north on 24th Street and then left on McDowell and then proceeded to go north on the 51, and it didn't cancel her until, pull her off my ride until she had driven all the way to nearly Thomas Road. And by then it was like, what the hell? What the absolute hell? And then it matched me with another driver, and he came over pretty quickly. That was when I got with him, he was fine. Other than he was one of those kind of Lyft drivers who didn't have his phone in a holder. So as he was driving, he kept constantly picking up his phone to look at it and to see where to drive. And I think that's honestly illegal in Arizona. I don't think you can be picking up a phone like that and operating it and looking at it while you're driving. I'm reasonably sure that's illegal here. And illegal or no, it's unsafe, and it makes me nervous. But at least I was able to kind of, tell him, hey, that thing's giving you, because I could see what directions it was giving him, because it was also showing the same thing in my app. And I'm like, yeah, that route is not going to get me to my bus. I need to catch an express bus at 6:11. I ain't going to get us there on time. It's just going to get us stuck in traffic. And at least this guy was cool enough to respect the fact that I'm the paying customer. And if I say to go away, that's the way you need to go, not the direction your algorithm's telling you to go. The driver that I told to let me out, she didn't seem to understand that concept, and went as far as yell at me as she was looking at her phone and touching and typing and shit on her phone in heavy traffic and not paying attention to the traffic. Super unnerving. And as many rideshare drivers I've had done that, I'm surprised there hasn't really been a safety investigation into drivers that do that, and whether that is a safe way to a safe thing to be happening in a motor vehicle. Anyway, I'm off my soapbox about that. I need to go pay my rent. But thanks for coming with me on the walk. That was fun. We're living on that.